baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yam, shimmy, yeah. Give me the mic so I can take it away. Off on the natural charge, bon voyage. Yeah, from the home of the Dodger Brooklyn squad. Wu-Tang Killer, bees on the swarm. Rain on your college disco dorm. For you to even touch my skill, you gotta go to one killer bee, and he ain't for the kill down. Chop that down, pass it all around. Lyrics get hard, quick cement to the ground. For an EMC in any 52 states, I get psycho. Killer, Norman Bates, my producer slam. My flow is like bam, on stage I've been addicted. I like the way you talk. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby. I like it raw. Baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. He likes it raw. Keeping it dirty down to the floor. See, my name is the ODB, and I'll beat you. For the ladies who know me, tell them who I've been. For the niggas who know me, tell them who I've been. My style comes down on you like rock. On the dock by the dock. By the floor. By the break, by the block. Got East Coast lockdown, padlock. Mazuna, we all down by the flock.
All right, folks, it's the guy with the bow tie checking with you live for another edition of Business of Benefits. To my right, we have Sam Downs, and we have some fun music to open up with.
I love that. I was jamming out.
Good. And we have some comments already. We had Tiffany Roberts representing for Team Live. Thanks, Tiffany. I hope you like ODB.
Okay.
So, Sam, I've been seeing your content. You're down to earth. You're real. That's why I chose that song, because you're raw with your content. It's no punches held. It's real, down to earth stuff. So, for the people that know who you are, kind of let them know who you are and why you know about New School Sales.
I'm Sam Downs. I'm a LinkedIn creator, and I've been in sales now, and I recently, pre-COVID, I took the faith and just went into and then COVID hit. I'm still here to tell you. Basically, I help companies with lead generation, appointment setting, and content creation as well, and I really help them understand the importance of marketing and sales and how you're supposed to blend that together. And then I bring the aspects of LinkedIn and how to properly prospect on LinkedIn with the use of video and kind of setting up an inbound marketing lead structure so they can help them as well. So that's it, basically in a nutshell. And I'm a mom of two and naturally going crazy. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I got my 2-year-old in the background, so if you guys hear a baby scream or anything, I'm trying to multitask right now, but that's life. So, New School. Oh, Tiffany said there's an echo. Okay, I figured this was going to happen. Well, I'll cut myself here in a second. New School versus Old School. What's New School Sales to you?
So, New School Sales to me is basically taking a step off of the phone necessarily and just stop being all about the cold calling and bringing other aspects of social media into it, and then kind of putting marketing in together with your sales and kind of not calling it marketing or versus sales, but just together all in one. That for me is New School, and social selling is New School, and I love it. It's been awesome. So. Wait, okay. You there? Oh. Can't hear you.
go. Okay,
There
sorry
you
about
go.
that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can
Yeah,
hear you
playing
now.
with the echo. I cut myself off. Uh, Thanks for that, Tiffany. We had Chad Phillips in the comments too, saying hello. Hey, Chad, thanks for
Hi,
jumping in there.
Chad.
And Tiffany, I just fixing my sound. I messed up some stuff, but yeah, new school to me, I love that it's combining all these different elements because old school was pretty much a Rolodex, a phone book, a listing, or something like that. So for you, I know a while ago you posted about prospecting that's working for you. So for the people that are using LinkedIn now or whatever social media, what would you say is the biggest thing from the old school that still works with the new school today?
I would say in following up with phone calls because that will never die. I'm sorry. Like the whole argument between cold calling, it will never die, and it is still effective. However, when you bring in all these extra elements, and then you start to see better results. And so once you start to build that relationship and continue building it over the phone and start it online, but kind of taking the selling aspect of things off the table for a moment when you're first introducing yourself online, because when they get caught in their element at work behind their desk on their phone, it's kind of more of a I'm thinking about my business and psychologically in that time rather than I'm sitting home scrolling on LinkedIn or whichever on my break, and I have this guy spamming me messages trying to book a 2-hour demo with me.
Yeah, I hate that. I think that's a true thing. And you may take the selling off the table. Speaking of which, we have a couple of the comments pop in. Sharon Harden, she's in Marietta, Georgia. Hey, Sharon, thanks for jumping on. And Tiffany said that's much better. Thank you, Tiffany.
Yay!
my sound team.
Yeah, I
One
don't
man show. But
hear an
that's
echo
true.
either.
Yes, new software trying to get fancy. But I think you're right about the new school, old school. That selling's off the table. I think people think with new school, it is spamming people. Like you connect and say, I'm going to send 100 DMs a day, and it's my full capability statement, my value prop, the whole thing at one time. But you mentioned something curious and interesting for when you first people. So what's something you do when you first connect with someone that might be a prospect?
So I always send a quick video, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, a video! I have to get on. What do you mean? I hate it. I'm so scared." Once you start doing it, and like I'm saying, like after the 10th video or after the 20th video, it's like it comes naturally. So I send a quick 15-second video or even a voice note if it's LinkedIn. Instagram can do it too. I believe you can send a video on Instagram as well too. So it's kind of that feature is really cool, and I heard there's more coming with that on LinkedIn. So look out for that. But I send them a quick 15-second video. Hey, this is Sam. Great connecting with you. Checked out your content. Think you're awesome. Some very short and sweet. Nothing about this is what I do. I am, a CEO of some powerful company that no one's heard of. And you don't really bring up your company. You know what I mean? You just say, hey, it's Sam Downs. Like, how's it going? And it's not really like leading somebody to like the slaughterhouse. It's more like you're just genuinely trying to initiate a conversation that's not sales oriented. It tends
Yeah,
to
that
be a
makes
better
sense.
response. Yeah.
And I want to ask the audience real quick: do you think you're more old school or new school when it comes to sales? Because I think I'm older than you. I'm 39. I don't know how old you are. So you might be a mixture. Because you're in your 20s, I'm guessing.
26.
Okay, so we got a little divide there. So I have some of the old school stuff I was taught that I kind of am rehashing myself from as I go further in sales. But would you say the person that taught you a lot of old school stuff and kind of says like, hey, where are you on LinkedIn all day?
Oh my, yes. And I'm not going to say, I'm not going to bring it up, but I'll just loosely say is that I made basically an entire career off LinkedIn. So, and if you're a sales manager on there, and if you're saying to your employees, like you can't do LinkedIn at work, I totally disagree with that. And I think you should allow at least a half hour to an hour on company time just to engage with people on LinkedIn and not just necessarily prospecting, but actually going through feeds, commenting on things and really trying to connect with people, because that is a great way to bring not only a name to your company, but to help build their personal brand too, because when they trust that salesperson, they're going to trust your company. So it's kind of like a win-win scenario.
Yeah, a friend of mine had that problem where you shouldn't book a live. This actually happens twice where you should book a live with somebody and they're like, oh, I can't do live during work hours. And I'm like, well, I'm talking about your job. It's not
Right.
going live to talk about, Hollywood Housewife or something. Like I'm talking about your business. So you should want to go live during the day, but their company didn't think that way. So it's
Exactly.
interesting that you see the same thing. And a couple of things we had. Chad said hello, and yes, he thinks he's more old school or new school. That is. Tiffany said you had to be a chameleon and change with the times.
Love it.
That's relevant. Like, I think that's pretty relevant because the last couple of years, social media become more prevalent than it used to be. So how long have you been selling yourself in your career?
So on social selling, like in that aspect,
Just total time. Just total selling for you.
so I started when I was like 17. So I started really young. I actually started at Radio Shack. May she rest in peace. And it's in retail sales, it's like, and it
I worked at a
really
Radio Shack for a brief stint, so I understand.
Yeah, it really molded me though, because I was stepping outside my comfort zone. Someone that was buying like a battery, I'd be like, hey, let's check your phone upgrade. Let's get you a new cell phone. And then people would out with your new phone. So it was really interesting. But yeah, then I started into telecom sales, insurance. I did insurance for a while, car sales. I've been everywhere.
We got some similarities. Like I've done telecom. I did T-Mobile, or not T-Mobile. Who was it? Singular. Before they were
Singular.
T-Mobile.
Oh, you're telling your age now. You're telling your age.
Hey, I already said I was 39 when it started, so I got that. But we had Team Live from Randy Cooper. Oh, Randy worked at Radio Shack too.
Yeah, you did. He was a manager. I know Randy. Randy has some stories. Let me tell you. Hit up Randy privately. He'll tell you some stories about Radio Shack. Insane.
That's so funny. It's funny when I worked there was a guy named Perry. My last name's Perry, so we followed each other in retail for a while. That when I left and went somewhere else, he ended up there later.
Wow,
but
how funny.
I appreciate the old school though, because it taught me some of the soft skills. I think.
Oh, for sure.
Old school. Okay, so do you think that's the challenge with new schools? Like a lot of new school people don't have the soft skills that the old school people have.
For sure, because let's be real here, is there's still a lot of that older generation in powerful positions and executive decision makers that we have to take into account. So we have to kind of like blend ourselves into and kind of feel it out. You know what I mean? We have to really become that prospect and to speak their language. So if like a new guy's coming in and, they're not really being respectful of, however, the dynamic, the body language, whichever, it could be a turnoff, and essentially you could lose business because of it. So you have to be mindful of, what is necessary and just kind of feel them out as to, if they're new school, old school, like how should you respect that and come into a respectful manner.
Yeah, I want to ask the audience for a fun reaction thing. So if your sales manager or someone that taught you sales did not believe in social media, did not believe in email, throw some reactions on the screen, because I know for me, a lot of the people I deal with are like, why are you on LinkedIn all day? Or nobody does anything without relationships in this world. So, and don't get me wrong, LinkedIn's about relationships, but they think it's just posting and you get a sale. But throw a reaction if you think, your manager or whoever taught you sales does not believe in social media. Randy also had a good comment. I remember selling bag phones at Radio Shack. A bag phone. I don't remember the bag phone. I remember selling batteries and stuff like that, and cell phone, but not a bag phone. That's a new one.
I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna have to Google it when I get off here.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at bag phone. Randy's always good with the image comment, so he might put an image comment.
Yeah, send it.
But so right now, you mentioned something important about the body language and being in the shoes of the prospect. So right now we're going through a pandemic. We're also going through racial injustice all over the place right now, and not right now. It's been going on. It's just now it's at the forefront. But when you say putting yourself in your prospect shoes, is that something you learned from your personal life?
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh.
From the selling side.
Yeah, for sure. Like definitely, because I always had that survival of the fittest attitude, and I kind of blended in any social situation. So I already had that life experience. Like I am way more street smart than I am book smart. Like no without a doubt. So taking that street smart and kind of blending it into a career aspect and a career mindset really helped me like blend in. And it helped me kind of build relationships with people, because really I can relate with so many different people on either side of the spectrum. So that was really important. So that's definitely a skill that I've developed like throughout my life.
Awesome. And I remember we talking about kids before. You were very open and transparent. I don't know how long ago it was, but you posted about losing your identity as a parent, being in selling and all that. So as I'm watching my 2-year-old, and I know you had a crazy day as well. You were transparent. People kind of think on LinkedIn, why would you post that?
Yeah.
In the place for that. But that probably got you a lot more engagement and connection with people than here are my capabilities. Here's what I can do. Here's what I can sell for you. So was that a conscious decision for selling, or just to kind of put yourself out there to connect with people?
So at the end of the day, like I know LinkedIn is very, and I fought with myself this for a while because when I first started creating content on here, I was very scripted and I was very, okay, this is what I can't talk about this, I can't talk about that. That's for the workplace, this is not. So the moment where I realized, I really have to be myself. And if I want to talk about these issues that I'm having in my life and how it's affecting me and how I overcame it, I'm going to. And it's funny because anytime I post a really heartfelt video like that, and now I'm not doing this for this reason, but you get it, is people, I get at least a few leads out of it, a few conversations that open up into sales, into, inquiries about my company and stuff. So it really, because at the end of the day, the person behind this, like we're all human. We're not just like some prospect and just like some like person that's waiting to be sold. It's not that. We're all human. We all have human feelings, emotions. We all go through the same things. So I think really expressing that is a huge advantage, because people begin to trust you. They begin to build relationship even off before you even reach out to them. So
yeah. That's why I wrote an article about prospects or people. I've always had an issue with that word prospect because it kind of dehumanizes the sales. Because it's like you're a person within your prospect when money gets involved, and it kind of changes the whole dynamic.
Oh,
but Randy had a quick question. He said, "What are the biggest challenges your clients have when they come to you?" So when you get a new client, what's their biggest issue they're facing usually?
I think that they have an issue that they're not even doing anything on social media at all. So like you really have to like build up a brand from nothing. And it's a kind of, to me, it's kind of a challenge, and it's kind of easier that way in a sense, because you don't have to like create all this, other type of, just rebrand. Like I feel like a brand from start is easier than a relaunch, to be honest, because you have to mend all those type of relationships or mend what, may happen in between that, the brand doesn't want to be associated with. So that's really the biggest challenge, and it's sad because it's 2020, but that's really what I've been seeing. And obviously with the whole COVID-19 thing happening and not having customers to call on and customer acquisition aspect of the business. So that's pretty much across the board.
Okay. So it's been kind of helping them get reacclimated with a different channel. I know I was talking with the advertising company today about their ad space, and they're doing ads and all that. And I like it, but I'm still also in the face of direct people seems to help in nowadays environment because we can't see people. We can't go networking in person. We can't walk indoors and all that. So it seems like there's still a personal connection. But I put a reaction question. Give a reaction if you think it's okay to be personal on LinkedIn. Got a lot of hand claps on that. So I know for me, I fought with that before I started rapping on LinkedIn. I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this. It's something I love a whole lot, but LinkedIn's supposed to be personal and I mean, not personal, business.
Yeah.
And you're right. Those things have gotten me more engagement, more real relationships with people versus this is what insurance is. This is what a disability policy is and all that.
Because
so,
at the end of the day,
in today's market with everything.
I mean, I'm just saying that, but no one
cares
until you make them want to care, until they make, because once they start caring about you, then they care about what you have to do and what you have to say and what product you're selling and service that you're selling. And I think once we as people come to terms with that, like no one cares what you have to offer. But until you like get in front of them and make them care and make them realize that there's an actual need for it, if there is, it's what it is.
Yeah, agree 1,000,000%. They gotta at least know something about you. Now, there's always that adage. So this is a good old school versus new school thing. There's always this phrase of people buy from who they know, like, and trust. So old school means heard that for decades. How do you feel about that statement?
I'm sorry, what was it? One more time. You kind of like.
Oh, sorry about that. The statement of when they say people buy from who they know, like, and trust is a very old sales statement. How do you feel about that as someone new in sales?
Yeah. So, I mean, you don't trust you don't really know anybody, especially if they're calling you, even when they're DMing you. But when you have such a platform that you can create video and you can like show people that you're not just some random guy calling them like a Jordan Belfort or something that's just trying to take you up. Just kidding. I love Jordan Belfort. Never mind. Anyways,
he reformed himself. He is a good stuff.
That's what I meant to say. Until I read his book, I was like, man, this guy's an a-hole. But then like I read his book and I was like, okay, like he's changed, man. Anyways, So like people don't know who you are. So like when you're creating yourself such an advantage when you can, you know, be real in front of a camera and you can really open up to people, and then they'll start to trust you and start to have that relationship. But when it comes to old school saying, it's like it's people, they separated the two, family and work life, and your emotions were here and your professional life was here. And if you brought any time, if you blurred the lines in between, you either got fired or you lost respect in the workplace. But now, like, shit, we're home. Like, this is our workplace, you know? So it's like, we live here now. So everyone's like, okay. So it's like becoming more acceptable. And I think, sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but yeah.
No, that's a good thing, though. I like that. I was doing a live with Phelan Schultz for 15 US or 15 Global, and her daughter got into the video at one point because she wouldn't calm down. And I said, just get your daughter. It's okay. I have 3 kids. I get it. It's not one of those things, but I think that's a helpful thing in sales. Brandy had a comment. I think it's also variable. I'm going to be more honest about the Marine Corps in front of another Marine than I would those who are not. So basically that relationship. If you know you have something in common, Randy saying if he has something in common, he'll open up more about what they're doing. And do you ever use that strategy when people say use the college you went to? Because I used to do that years ago, but I find that doesn't always work as a strong connection. But how do you feel about that?
Yeah, because to be honest, like when I see somebody that like pops up into my DMs, like especially like a college or something, especially if it's a huge community college or huge whatever, a huge college, I'm just gonna be like, okay, like so did like 1,000 other people. Okay. But like once you put that, or if you like see a piece of their content or something that resonated with you, like, hey, this relates to me, like this resonated with me. That's a better introduction than, hey, like I know you from class of 1985. Like, oh, no, like I don't know who you are. But yeah, so it's bringing up things like their hometown or something. I mean,
yeah.
It maybe depends on the conversation, I guess, if it like leads to it. But if you have serious ties with that place and you can't like, name every football or basketball, then I wouldn't even go there. Because that's gotten me in trouble before, actually, believe it or not.
That's good to hear, though, because new school salespeople will hear, like find the commonality and exploit it. And then certain ones, like Marine Corps, is very like a hard thing to get in, Randy. So we respect your service and what you do with that.
Thank you. Yeah.
A college is like you said, anybody could have gone there for the most part, so it's probably a looser time. But I want to ask a question for the audience and for you. So when you get into sales, there's usually this adage of like, get the first call, get the appointment and all that. With what you're doing, what do you think, and this is for the audience too, what's your usual sales cycle time? Like how long does it take you to go from, okay, I've identified you as a prospect in my DM to actually having that meeting close? What do you think is your usual 10 touches, 15 touches, or is it kind of a feeling for you?
I would say that it starts off with that video. Then I try to, really space out for like a week to make it a point to give them a phone call. Obviously, sometimes like their information's not on LinkedIn or I can't do my FBI investigating. Most of the time that's completely, I can usually find that on Google or let's be real, it's 2020. So then I'll give them a call and I'll be like, hey, I sent you that video with Sam Downs, and then I kind of, introduce the business, introduce my client or a client's business, whatever I'm prospecting for. And then it does take, I would say, at least maybe 5 touches if I had to put a number on it. But a lot of the time, it's kind of more of a feeling, like, because everyone's different. Everyone has different sales cycles. Like, I prospect for an MSP and managed service providers. Sometimes it takes 15 to 20 to 30 touches before they even sign any type of agreement. So it really depends on the client, but I would say on average, maybe 5 touches to start really like getting things going with sales cycle and stuff.
Okay, it sounds like most of your touches are based in the DM, or you're kind of doing the DM as the first part, then it's phone calls.
Yeah, then first I'll do the DM or connect with them, really, I should say, and then the DM, and then a phone call. And then like if I find out that they're not answering their phone, then I'll go back to the DM. I kind of figure out how they're communicating.
Okay.
Is email the best, or then I'll try to do my investigating on that way.
That's good to hear that, because I always try to teach people that, the point of social media is to take it offline. So
Yeah.
a lot of people think the whole thing happens in the inbox, and a lot
Mhm.
does happen there, but the key purpose is to get it to a phone call or a Zoom call. So it's good to hear you saying that too. Do you think your Radio Shack days taught you that? Is that where you learned that from?
It's like trial and error, to be honest. Like, because I was one of those spamming people, and if anyone's out there that's watching, and if I spammed you like a few months ago or 6, 7 months ago, like, I am so sorry. I was learning, and now we're here, and everything's good. But yeah, like, I was in that space not that long ago. It wasn't actually. It was more like a year ago when I first really started making content on here, and I was prospecting for another company. I would be really spammy, like, "Hey, this is my calendar link. Like, this is our advantages. This is why we're different. Like, book a 15-minute call
Yeah.
right now, demo." So, anyways, but yeah, I forgot really where I was going with that, but yeah.
No, that's good. Let's expand on that. So, quick for the audience, comment how you feel about spamming to me, or if you think it is spamming. Some people think it's mass marketing in a large scale instead of one by one. But since you came from that world, audience, comment how you feel about that. But since you came from it, what made you flip the switch? What made you say, this isn't the way anymore? I throw my hands up. Here's the new way. What kind of brought that revelation to you?
Because it wasn't working, and then I saw hundreds of people making content about it. Like, really, I learned from LinkedIn. And if, like, a
Okay.
lot of people are saying this one thing, and then I look in the comments and people are agreeing and people are not, and no one was really even responding to me. The best responses that I got was like, not even saying anything that I'm doing, because, and then you have to add this element. If your profile is 100% optimized as to what you do, and it really explains, like, what services you offer, they're going to check it out. They're going to see your profile. And if it's really something that they're in need of right then and there, they're going to even bring it up themselves. You know what I mean? So that's actually happened a few times for me, but, yeah, like, so just making your profile optimized and keeping those conversations going, and taking it offline is really key. Has been key for me.
Okay, well, here's a good vulnerable comment from Mr. Wayne Cole. Thanks for opening up, Wayne. He said, "What should someone do their first video content on here? Everyone in here does so good. I like to do something relevant and contributing." So I know my first video, but I want to hear your first video. What was your first video? And actually, for those that feel the same way, throw some reactions for that. But what was your first video, Sam?
My first video was awful. I'm not gonna lie. Like, and your first video is probably gonna be awful too. Like, we have to just come to terms with it. It's gonna suck, but we're gonna get better. Like, that's what we're here for. And that should let people know that it was your first video. Anyways, but yeah, my first video was just, "Hey, Sam, this is what I do. Like, this is where I'm from. And really, like, this is my first video, guys. Like, thanks for watching. Have a great day." That was really it.
I think that was the same effect with me trying to be like talking about an insurance word. I think I did with my first video, like explaining a word. And I look back about it now, like the angle was bad, the quality wasn't good. And it's a progression, even my show. Those have been watching my show, aggressively, my first few shows were horrible. It was just me staring at the camera, barely figuring out how to use the software. So what you see me everything so good, Will or Wayne, when you see these things are so good, it took a while to get here.
It does.
I tried some music today and it messed up, but it sounded better before I messed up. So it's a progression of things. So don't get somebody's chapter 10 like your chapter 1.
Exactly.
It's a cliche, but it's real. So just make something.
Yeah, seriously. And just keep talking about, like, what your experiences. Like, there's no, like I said, there's no shame in kind of, bringing up your life experiences, your career experiences. No.
Yeah, I think that's probably some of the best content, but not so much the preachy content where it's like, don't
right.
give
Oh,
up,
yeah.
you're the best, and you're gonna, I think there's enough of those. There's enough of those going on right now. Like, I can be out of that for a while, but if it's like, this is what I went through, like you did with your, being a parent and being in business, that was a very real moment. It wasn't like you're the best in the world and nobody tells you can't do it. I'm
right.
over that, I think, but being real. And then Marcello had a comment for me. He knew about the music. Me and him been texting about this music software. So he said yes for the music.
Yeah.
Marcello, it worked, and then I messed up at the end, but it worked for a minute. But Wayne said LOL. So Wayne, just make a video. That's the most common excuse I hear people. So when you get clients, are you trying to help them make video content, or do you make it for them?
So I am really trying to coach them because my main goal is so they don't need me anymore. Like they don't need somebody like me to help them, come up with ideas but I will edit it for them. And if they're like, at that stage where they feel 100% comfortable to do a front facing camera video, then I'll help them edit it. But I try to not make the video content for them because I really want them to step out of their comfort zone to do it. But there's obviously some other things, like if it's like a promotional video, like that's kind of easier because it's not really them talking, but if it's for their personal page, I really want them to be hands-on about that.
Yeah, that's why Randy Cooper says, like Nike, just do it.
Let's do it.
Good comment there. So for people, if you've never made a video, they're the curious reaction on the screen. If you've never made a video on LinkedIn, and let's say a video of yourself, I know a lot of people do like a picture video of like a picture slideshow or something, or a video from their work. If you've never done a video, they're a curious reaction. Marcello also said, just do it, then you will learn where you need to improve. That's how I learned, honestly. A big teacher for me was Shay Robotham. Have you followed her content before?
Oh yeah, obviously.
Okay, I know some people say they haven't. I'm like, I don't know how you haven't seen her content, but she taught me captioning, the bars, all that. So if you watch enough people, you'll get your own rhythm of what you like and what works for
sure.
you. But for these clients that come to you, so they're coming and saying, I need to make video. Is it really a big struggle for you to get them to make video, or is it usually like hammer them over the head and they're like, fine, Sam, whatever you say?
Sometimes, but I honestly, I haven't really come to that, revelation with them, because at the end of the day, this is not to sound snobby or anything, but I really want to work with people that understand that, hey, I need to be doing this, and that I really don't have to tell them why they should be doing it. Because I have very limited time in the day, and I would of course follow up with them like, hey, I didn't see you do this, but I really want to make it so they know what they should be doing, and then it's easier for me to do my job and my part in it. So not to be snobby or anything.
Mm-hmm. No, it's okay. And I like that you said you used to spam people. So I even had on live somebody spam my live one time, putting their features and benefits in the comments. Like, really?
Yeah.
You're on live right now. You're going to spam people like that? So
or
when you used to do that, and this is something I always ask people. Oh my God, I can't stand that. But since you used to come from that world, so to be honest about it, you did that. Over the course of doing that, how many sales did you generate from the mass messaging?
The mass messaging, when I was doing that?
Yeah, like how many sales do you think you actually made come out of that technique?
Honestly, I don't think even one, to be honest. Maybe maybe a few demos, but I really don't think. Well, because when I was doing it, I was working for another company, and it was kind of a really just weird situation. But I would be prospecting to have new resellers for their product. So just to even get them to commit to something was really rare. That no one was signing new partners. So it was a rarity in the sense that someone was even doing this. But to be honest, I really didn't do it that much to really get affirmative metrics. But for me, when I was doing it, it wasn't working. I probably got a few demos out of it, and it really didn't lead to anything.
Okay, and then the PSA then, so now you're switching to the process versus the trick or the technique. Now that you're actually in the process of working with people, you're probably getting a lot more deals closed as a result of that, I'm guessing. Exactly,
yeah, and keeping your, like I said, your profile optimized, because then you'll start having things come to you and fall on your lap. Especially somebody like me that doesn't really have the time in the day for so many clients, you know what I mean? And to be prospecting for myself and my clients, it becomes a lot. So.
Okay, makes sense. And then the catch up comments, Lynn said he's been watching Randy's series and it's very encouraging. And then Randy said, thank you. So good job for that. Marcello, thanks for even a shout out to tagging somebody to watch the replay. Guess he was having a conversation about this today.
Oh, wow.
So it's funny how these things happen. The ether comes out in real life. But with the new school versus the old school, so right now, I think I mentioned to you about the I want people to come to me. The reason I kind of started doubling down then, I cold called my whole first 2 years of my insurance agency. It worked, but it wasn't the smartest way and the fun way to make it. I'm kind of a sociopath of cold calling. I'll call you, you can yell at me, and I'm fine with it. I just kind of accept it like it's going to happen. Like, I just like, you know what? Somebody's going to yell at me at some point. They'll call me. It's okay.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny because
I'm weird in that way, and I kind of make a game out of it. It's kind of funny to me, like, but it's real for me. Like, if you hang up on me and get mad, I laugh at it. Like, bro, it was a phone call. Why is your world all different because I called you and you were eating or something? But now as I mature, I'm like, I don't want to have to do that all day. I would much rather somebody finds me and take the time. But it takes like 3 to 6 months, I think, genuinely, to build a following and to build people to come to you. So
for sure.
For you, have you gone through cold calling personally yourself?
Oh yes. So honestly,
Okay.
Would you say cold calling what? I just want to make sure I was saying yes to that.
Is that something you have done before in your career? Like, did you used to do cold calling before you got into social media?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my first real telecom job, I was making 250 cold calls a day to get one lead a day. And let's hope maybe like 5 of those closed each month. But it was brutal, but it gave me such thick skin, and I'm so thankful for that call center that I worked at. That was a telecom company. Shout out to them because I learned so much about myself, patience, being acceptable for coaching. There was times where I really don't get offended anybody, but I wanted to punch my manager in the face because he kept trying to come behind me and coach me during a stressful call. And I was like, what is this guy doing? But it was, cold calling I still have a love for it. It's still exhilarating. It's fun. It's a challenge. And I still love it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but in the reaction to everybody, if you had a really hard cold calling job, or you currently have a hard cold calling job, throw some reactions for us to see. I appreciate it. My biggest learning curve for cold calling was I worked for the Hilton Grand Vacations. I was the guy calling past guests to get a timeshare tour. So if you stayed at the Hilton, I would call you and say, hey, we got a trip to Vegas basically was free, but you had to go to a timeshare tour. And there was a schedule. I worked like 3 days. And so everybody all across the nation dinner time. Horrible. But it taught me about how to use the phone and how to speak to people and how to use your tone and intonality and to have thick skin. So if you had a hard cold calling job, throw some reactions for us to kind of see, because I'm always curious to see if everybody else is cold calling. Misha Berry says she's going to watch us on replay. Thanks, Misha, for the comment.
Thank you.
We got some reactions. So some people are doing cold calling. They have done it before. I think it's a necessary evil, but unfortunately, for now, so in 2020, how do you define cold calling as a new school salesperson? What do you define cold calling as?
So I define cold calling as something that because there's some people that they're really going to be mad at me for saying this. But it's not really cold calling. It's kind of warm calling. I like to call people that already kind of have seen my face, and let's hope that they kind of already have some type of relationship established, or that I'm stepping into a cold calling scenario where I haven't talked to them online, but I have researched every single freaking thing about their business that it seems like an old friend from high school or something, and I know like what's going on ins and out, and I can really speak his language just off of like his social media and like their business, their review section from their customers, because that is a pain point gold mine, might I add. And their website, their blogs, there's just so much things that I can gather that I really try to, do my research if I'm really going into a cold calling scenario. But yeah, it's knowing the customer and really walking into that scenario educated. That's what I try to define me as new school cold calling.
Okay, and I like that. So basically, you're saying you don't cold call. Is that essentially what you do? Like, I don't cold call anybody.
Right.
I'm going to know something about you before I call you. So to break that down, that's part of your process. How much time do you think people should invest in researching their list they're going to call on?
So I would spend, and people are going to kill me because like, hey, if I'm calling 150 people a day, how am I going to do this? Literally spend, because like even when it's on, like when you're ringing and you're going through their auto attendant and you're pressing 1 to speak to Joe or whatever, you can literally, it takes a few seconds to click on their home web page, their Google page, their LinkedIn feed. Like I could have all three of those opened up in 2 minutes, not even.
Yeah.
So just glancing that over and kind of just like digesting it. So like 3 to 5 minutes, I would say at least, on each, new person. And to be honest, like the days of 100 to 50 to 200 calls a day, I think that's dwindling because people are understanding the quality versus the quantity of what you're doing. Of course, numbers game, yes, but if you're fixated on quality versus quantity, it's gonna work good for you too.
Okay, so I know I was talking with Steve Farrell about this, kind of the focus on the activity, not the result. So
Yeah.
you're kind of a combination, like I want to get a quality conversation versus just having a
Right.
conversation.
Exactly.
So you might not do 100 calls a day, you might do half.
Right.
I like that. That's just smart, because I mean, at the end of the day, those of us that have done those brutal cold calling 100 people a day kind of situation, that does deplete your energy. And it is the numbers game thing. I know the numbers game thing kind of makes sense, but at the same time, like you said, it's dwindling because people can research things now. Consumers kind of know what's going on. So if you just think you're just going to get lucky, and I mean, you could get lucky. Let's say that's going to happen. But reality is you need to have some skills, kind of where Marcello put on here. Cold calling is a skill that needs to be mastered. And it's a skill. I agree. Do you think it's a skill being able to cold call people?
Oh, for sure. But I think that anyone can learn that skill. It's a teachable skill, but you have to be willing to learn it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you have to, and that way, if you're only calling 50 people a day instead of 150 or 200, then you can lead in times for coaching, for LinkedIn time, for, DM time, for email time. It's like you can split up the day to more effective things in building your personal brand and helping build your company's brand, versus calling 150 people a day and getting one lead a day, or one appointment or 2 appointments, or how many ever.
And Randy had a comment about that, saying it depends on the size of the deal for his research time. Now, this is a good thing Marcello put on here. I do this every day before I hit the road, 10, 10, 10. 1 minute per contact, 10 contacts, send an email with 10 plus words. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good strategy. It's easy to repeat for people. Now, something I want to ask, since we're talking new school versus old school. So you've had sales managers, and how many of your sales managers were your age?
Were my age?
Yeah.
One, and he was a little bit older than me, but he was millennial.
So did you get along with him more than the other ones?
To be honest, yes. And I hate to do this. We took you like a millennial.
No, but I'm barely millennial. I got you by some years, but 81 is apparently a millennial, so I'm barely a millennial. But
right. So,
but at the same time, for the new school people that have an old school manager, how do you help navigate that relationship?
To be honest, like you can't come in there like acting like you know it all, because that is a threat, and you have to be really soft spoken, to be honest, but to the point, because you can't just like bark at people, especially the boomers and the X's. You're just not going to get anywhere with that. You have to come up with solutions rather than, hey, I just have an idea, or we should be doing this, but show them, why you should be doing this, and formulate strategies, because they're all about, they're all about affirmatives and what you can, the context you can bring them. They don't care about the idea necessarily. They want to see the proof behind it. So if you come to them with those type of situations, especially in business, it's an easier sell, and you don't just sound like you're a millennial that knows everything. Just bring proof, bring some findings, and that's really what has helped me with the old schoolers, because it's hard to blend those generations together, because I mean the mainstream and everyone's perception and opinions taints everybody else. They categorize us into millennial. They're crying babies. So like we have to repair that relationship, unfortunately. So.
Well, that's good. Like you said, bring factual evidence, because I mean, there's some like Randy. I'll give a shout out. Randy's a very evolved. I think Randy's Gen X. I'm not sure Randy, but you're a very evolved Gen X, where you said I'm going to learn with all the new trends going on. Wayne, I want to close out with a good question from Wayne. So he said, should one make an ROI video, since the ROI for my service takes about 2 to 4 minutes to send out after the first or second call? So send a video about the ROI for your service. So Wayne, to elaborate on that, do you mean for anybody or somebody you actually spoke to? Because I think if you spoke to somebody, that might be a good video. What do you think about that, Sam?
Yeah, I wouldn't, saying that the statistics or something that's not, that's I would say that would be, if you're talking to that person, yeah, of course. If they're expressing interest, yeah, why not?
But what about to the post? Like, Wayne might be asking, should I post the video about my ROI to my network?
See,
that'd be effective. Like, hey, my company gets a 40% return on da 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 da.
Because if you already have an established kind of trust with people and then you can start kind of filtering. You just have to have a really good balance. But instead of like showing a video of like just words, like show them a testimonial. Like that's the best way, is to have your clients and your clients and your customers that have had success at it, have them speak upon it. Because it's hard to get in front of the camera and really talk about yourself or post behind, especially when you don't really have that much of clout or a network surrounding you and that relationship already established. So it's like, oh, this just other guys just, sending another, statistic video. It's kind of, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I think especially millennials and younger people, we kind of question every statistic we see or every stat, like, well, who said that?
Right.
Where'd that come from? So I take a little issue with it as a general post because you never know if every single person is going to have that same result. And I think it's not, I'd rather know somebody. I hear a lot of CEOs I talk to, so I don't want to be the video or the face of my company. I just want to make the widget. And I think nowadays you kind of have to step out. Elon Musk is in stuff all the time. Granted, he's the ego kind of guy, but Tesla, Elon Musk, the two go together, and if you like them or don't like them, you kind of attribute them together. So I think in this cry for attention, you kind of have to put videos that are not specifically product, but like a testimonial, like you said, or you with the client at their office, or you working and actually doing some work. I think that's a lot better than just, I've got my last 5 clients with 20% return on their investment. Because I don't know how real it is to people. Marcello had a good comment to get, Wayne, can A and B test this to see which one gets more tracking and determine where to invest your time? That's good. And Wayne actually said someone he spoke to. So if you spoke to them, send the ROI video. So Wayne, I think Sam and I agree, if you spoke to them, go ahead. That makes total sense in my opinion.
Yeah. I would say, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so Wayne, there you go. So, and that's relevant. That's the thing about that. A video, like when you said you do a video of someone that you just met, it's relevant because you just connected with them. I'll send a voice message all the time and, hey, we just connected. Just want to make sure you know I'm a real human, not a bot or something. And that's relevant versus if I just out of nowhere say, hey, I want to get you a life insurance policy. Like, why did you just come out and say that? There's nothing relevant to what we're talking about.
Am I going to die?
Yeah, we're not even talking about that.
Every time I say, you need some life insurance, bro, they're like, what am I going to die for? Like, I'm taking all my money in the grave with me. That was literally the statement everyone said. Like, don't you care about your wife and kids? Like, Joe,
That makes an interesting comment. I was talking to a Spanish insurance salesperson. He said, don't talk about life insurance with the spouse, talk with the widow.
Yes. That's very true.
Yeah, now it was like he said Mexican people don't listen. He said he was very honest with me. Like when they talk to a Mexican man, I gotta tell them don't talk to your spouse. She wants to go shopping and get her nails done. Talk to your spouse. She wants the house taken care of and the car and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's different messaging, but it's still relevant. You gotta be relevant whatever you do. Well, Sam, this is fun. I like nerding out on sales with people. I don't get to do that often. And,
I know I do. I'm actually really excited. I'm like need to calm down because I'm like shaking. When I get excited, I like.
and Wayne put much appreciated. Thank you so much for that, Wayne.
Thanks, Wayne.
Wayne put Marcello old school. You're still young. Marcello is older than he appears. Wayne, Randy. He's older than he appears. I won't reveal that for Marcello, but he and I we look a little younger than we actually are for the most part. So thank you, Randy, for the love.
It's that good
for those of you out there, He has good skin, that the melanin, it does a good job. For those of you out there dealing with the pandemic still, yes, there's still a pandemic. I know the news is talking about the riots and all that. My quick PSA, protesting doesn't mean looting.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my PSA out there. I know a lot of people are blacking out, not doing their usual routine because of what's going on, but I've scheduled this whole thing and it's still valuable content for the audience. So my stance is, still be respectful of those people, listen to them, hear what they have going on, because it's one of those things that I know all lives matter, but when there's a fire in the house, you go for that house that's on fire, not the ones in the neighborhood that have nothing going on. Oof. So be respectful of people. Marcello put sales nerd. Thank you, Marcello. Be respectful of people out there that are going through the pandemic and the racial pandemic that's going on. I know you're in New York, I think, right, Sam?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. Well, I'm in Rochester, but it was over the weekend it happened, and it was really sad. But like you said, you need to listen. Like if like someone like me, I don't have a leg to stand on an opinion, but I can listen to the people that do, and I think that's really important. So I think you hit it great. Just listen.
Yeah, just listen to people. We got social media for a reason, not to just yell at people. We can listen to people at the same time. So thank you, folks, for tuning in for Business of Benefits. Sorry about the sound issue in the beginning. I got to yell at Marcello to get some help on my video mixer sound software. But we'll catch you next time. If you know a sales manager that needs a little help with a new school person or a new school person that needs some help, tag them on this, share it with them. Let's get the sales industry a lot better so everybody has more fun with this. But thank you much.